Hello and welcome. I gotta turn my camera on. To Out of State DMing. I'm your host, lluksblackheart. And both my co-hosts are able to join me today, LadyCelt and Bacon.
Sup, fuckers?
uh, the spell we're starting with today is another detect spell because this is the last line of detects. And it's detect undead. This is a divination, first level cleric, paladin, sorcerer, wizard spell. Components are verbal, semantic, material / divine focus. Casting time, standard
Interesting.
action, range 60 feet. Cone shape emissions from the caster. Duration, concentration up to 1 minute per level. Saving throw, none. Spell resistance, no. And this spell works just like any of the other detect spells, as in round 1, you detect the presence or absence of undead. Round 2, the number of undead auras in the area and the strength. 3, the strength and location of each undead aura. If an aura is outside your line of sight, you discern the direction but not its exact location. Aura strengths, which are based on hit die of the undead. Faint is a 1 or less, because yes, there is creatures out there that don't have a full hit die. Hey, look, we're being graced with 2 faces today. Just had to be out of pocket there. 2 to 4 is moderate. 5 to 10 is strong. 11 or higher is overwhelming. There's lingering auras, which based on the aura strength is how long it lasts in the area. So if it's too weak, it's not going to last very long, no matter how fast you are. If it's too strong, it's going to last for days. Hi, Nova and the dancing dinosaur. You can use it when each round you can turn to detect undead in a new area, so that way you can move around so you're not just stuck facing one direction. And just like the other detects, 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt blocks it. Arcane component, a bit of earth from a grave. Which a lot of people... Yeah, the only problem with specific materials like that is that it's not necessarily hard to get, but it's considered rude because you can't just go to cemetery and get any dirt. You have to go to a grave and get dirt from the grave, which a lot of people consider grave robbing because they think you're going to start digging up the grave, even though you're just getting a handful of dirt so you can have a bunch of castings of detect undead. And that's mainly because in my personal experience of, well, playing for most of my freaking life, a lot of players that when they want to go get what can be considered a free resource for their spells, they don't just take a tiny bit. They don't just go, well, this pouch holds like 3 pounds worth of material, so I'm going to get 3 pounds worth of dirt, which is a decent amount of dirt. No, they go, I don't ever want to come back to a grave to have to dig up dirt for the spell, so they go with a bucket and shovel. And they never ever go to the secluded grave sites, the hard to get to grave sites where there's no one there to see you. No, they go, it's like, well, we're in this capital city, so we're going to go to the capital city's graveyard and start just digging up dirt so we can have it. We don't want the surface dirt. No, we want to make sure it's quality grave dirt. So they remove the grass that's on top and start getting buckets of dirt.
And that's because that's not suspicious at all.
You could just take the dirt off the top, realistically.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you have to like, get rid of the grass that's in it, but that's not necessarily very hard. And they never go like the dead of night where it's going to be easy to not get spotted. No, they want to do it in broad daylight. One player even went, "Hey, I want the freshest grave dirt possible." It's like,
Okay,
okay.
why not just hang out at a funeral and at the graveside service go, I'm just going to nip over here real quick and, grab a handful. I mean, at that point, you're already being so rude and conspicuous. Just go all in.
Yeah, and then they get snippy and argumentative. It's like, it's just grave dirt. It's like, you're going there with 3 buckets, a cart, and a shovel.
Yeah.
Because the cart is totally inconspicuous.
It's broad daylight. And how does that not look like a grave robber? Because I'm not robbing the grave. I'm going for the dirt. That's your intent, but the city guard that's now going to contain you for suspicion of being a grave robber don't care what your intent is. They care of what you look like you were doing. Just get his few materials. You don't need to do that. Avoid all this trouble right here.
People never seem to understand the concept of less is more. You don't need a shit ton of it for the spell to begin with.
No, it's a bit. So having a pouch full of it can last you a very long time. There's a bit we can say just for measurements on how long it's going to last. We can say like it's an ounce of dirt. Just to make sure that it counts as a bit of dirt and you're actually getting dirt. Well, that's 16 uses per pound. You have a pouch full of 3 pounds of it. That is 46 castings of a spell you're probably not ever going to use 46 times. But people...
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like people don't understand, like you don't, like it's unless it's a combat spell, 9 times out of 10 you're not using that spell consistently.
Yeah. There's like Detect Undead is one of the spells that I've seen a lot of people do a lot of prep to use, but then either never use it or they use it when there's no inkling of undead. Like, we're in a fog. I'm using Detect Undead because this must be an undead doing it. It's like, no.
Okay, so genuine question with this is, in my character's case, since I am playing a vampire, I am technically an undead. If I cast a spell, will I detect my own aura?
No, because it's off of your vision. So if it's within your cone, you'll detect what's in your cone. So you would have to like put your arm within where you can see it, and you'll be able to see it. Your arm will glow. That's like the only real way you'll be able to actually see yourself.
Gotcha.
So unless you're putting parts of your body within inside where you're looking, you're not going to detect yourself. Otherwise, that would be a very awkward spell because you would blind yourself because I'm glowing. Now there's a glow interfering with my sight because my eyes are dead. They're glowing, so I can't see.
Especially at my level, the aura would be insane.
Well, yeah, because once you hit 11 or higher hit dice, you're considered overwhelming. You're significantly above 11. So the definition of overwhelming stacks for you because your total hit die is like easily over twice 11.
Yeah, it goes from that's overwhelming to, oh god, I'm staring at the sun.
Yeah, it's like, well, I just burned out my eyes. Crap. This is gonna suck for a while because I'm gonna be blind till I can get this fixed.
God, I can see you.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a spell that I've seen wastefully used because it's like there's no clue that there's undead here. Why are you spending the spell? Especially because they once they use it, they'll literally slow the party down because they're like, no, I need to focus on this. It's like it's round 1, the presence or absence of undead in the area. There's no undead in the area. You have to move and refocus to actually see if there's more undead in this direction here. No, they must be invisible or something. It's like, technically it bypasses invisibility because it lets them glow. So if they're invisibility, you would see them. Why are we spending 3+ rounds with you definitely verifying there's no undead here?
Because they're stupid.
Yeah. And then it's not like, well, I'm going to move like my base move increment of 30 feet and then refocus on the spell 30 feet ahead. So you're seeing 30 feet farther and farther. No, they're like, I take a 5-foot shift. It's like, yes, you're only seeing 5 feet farther. Or they're like, I turn to the left to see if there's any to the left. It's like, well, seeing how this is a very thin hallway and the stone around us is already been confirmed to be 5+ feet thick of stone, you're not seeing through the stone to our right or left. So unless it's behind us or in front of us, no.
The only thing you're seeing is stone. Congratulations. You keep looking at stone. You're arguing. You're stupid, and you're still looking at stone.
Yeah, and it's
It's
not
a
because...
stone.
And I can clearly say it's not because they don't read the spell. It's just that they're not thinking.
They're not comprehending the spell. It's that they read it. They just don't comprehend it. Comprehension is another big problem.
Yeah. Because it's also one that's like, okay, we're fighting goblins, and we are able to confirm that the goblins have an adept that's using like mist and fog. Why are you casting Detect Undead? We're fighting goblins. What, that might be undead goblins? It's like, let's check notes. Nothing states that any of these, any reports are of undead goblins or a goblin necromancer. You never know. The DM might throw a curveball.
Yeah,
I think
so
you're the
100%.
curveball.
100%. Instead of getting Detect Undead, just get Commune with Nature. It's such a better spell.
Oh, I love that spell. And when we already covered it, so we covered it in an earlier episode. But that is such a great spell because it goes like 10 miles. Yeah, 10-minute caster time. The amount of people who complain about, but it takes 10 minutes. I went, yes, it's 10 minutes, has a 10-mile radius, and it states that if you refocus it, you can switch certain aspects that we're looking for. So you can find structures within 10 miles of you. You can pinpoint, I'm looking for undead. Is there undead within 10 miles of us? Yes or no? We can get the rough, where they're at within that 10 miles. So it's a very, very useful spell. The only problem is it works only outdoors. So you can't be in a building or in a dungeon or in a castle to have it work. But if you're outside of the castle walls, you can get it to work because you're technically now in nature.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to loophole everything. I mean, how many times have I said, okay, I teleport outside and then cast Commune with Nature? It's you have ways to make it around a barrier if you just think about it.
Yeah, it's thinking. Not overthinking, because a lot of people do that too. It's a simple thinking. If a spell's not working the way you want it to where you're at, think why it's not working, and then try to figure out what you can do to make it work. A lot of people either go, well, then I'm not casting that spell, and then they never cast a spell again for as long as they live. And then they get pissy when someone else casts it and it works for them. Because even with Detect Undead, the amount of times I've seen people use it and it not work because there's no undead there, and then they get pissed off when someone else uses it and it works. It's like, well, of course it's going to work now because we're trying to sneak around the vampiric guardians protecting the Lich. We have to go steal his phylactery for. We don't have to fight the vampires. We don't have to fight the Lich. We just have to steal his phylactery. We know what it is because this wizard here told us what it is. We need to sneak in and get out. What's going to help us avoid the vampires? Detect Undead.
That felt like a very targeted example.
It was.
All right, fuck you too.
It wasn't targeted on you, though. Mainly because you didn't use Detect Undead and you weren't trying to steal a Phylactery. You were trying to defeat the Lich.
We just barbecued the Lich.
In more ways than one. No, but it's like certain circumstances, it was like, okay, of course the cleric's going to succeed on his Detect Undead, and he's not going to spend rounds trying to figure out, okay, is it a powerful one or not? Because the party needs to sneak. It's real easy to sneak past undead when you know that where the undead are and where they're coming, and you need to hide so you can get to places faster. The person now complaining, it's like, well, it didn't work when I cast it. It's like, we were fighting goblins. It didn't work because...
In a cave.
Yeah, it was a cave, and
we were
fighting goblins.
We were 7 miles underground when you tried to cast it, you fucking murder hobo. Calm yourself.
It's like, we didn't need it then because we weren't fighting it. We're verified that we're fighting them now, so it's needed now. It would probably go easier if you were also, well, I'm never using that stupid spell again because it only works when the DM favors the player. It's like, you are the monkey wrench.
You are the party's biggest problem. Congratulations. You're stupid.
Yeah. But other than like scenarios where people just don't use it correctly or just use it when they don't need it because all you have to do is have more than 2 brain cells, it's still a good spell, even though it's limited to just picking up undead. It's still a good spell. And it's still a spell I recommend at least one party member has, unless the DM's straight up like, I ain't using undead, because if he's not using undead, then any undead related spell pretty much becomes useless, because why prep a spell when you're
No. It's still useful. You might have those undead goblins.
You might have the mysterious undead goblins. And the goblin necromancer turns out to be a goblin lich.
That'd be terrifying, actually.
A goblin that figured out the ritual around becoming a lich and became a lich. Yeah. Because that's a very resourceful goblin. Because goblins becoming more than skeletons or zombies, it's not that's uncommon at best, rare at common for them to be any other type of undead. Primarily because necromancers that utilize undead goblins don't view them as being good enough for anything other than cannon fodder undead, because they're goblins. So a goblin popping up as a lich, you know that he somehow acquired the ritual stuff and then the material, because yes, the ritual to do it requires blood of a unicorn.
Okay.
So, like, if he's able to become a lich, it's like, he's not weak. That's a high level character right there. That's a threat. Because
sounds like I need to go become a lich.
Well, you're a vampire, so you can't become a lich.
Fuck you too.
Well, I mean, unless you want to lose all your vampiric shit.
I can't be a vampy lich?
No, undead templates don't stack with one another.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Well, it's the same reason why
the DM's favoring other players.
Damn right I am. Everyone else gets to double stack shit, and you don't, even though you're already double stacked.
Oh, I'm like triple stacked, but let's be real. My character's broken as shit.
You have to remember, according to other people, I favor you above the rest of the party, so I don't want to hear that shit. Even though it's not true. You're just not...
They're just... And I'm going to say this, and this has nothing to do with the topic of the... If you are making a character, and your DM says, hey, I think you would like this, listen to the DM!
Yeah, PS2,
chances
like that class?
Chances are your DM is going to lead you in a direction of something A, cool, or B, it's going to help you down the road. Like when I was, for example, and this is, again, when my character came time to picking a prestige class. Lux, being the DM, said, "Hey, I think you would like this one." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't know." And he's like, "Well, it does this, this, and this." And I'm like, "But this one does this, this, and this." And he goes, "Are you sure you want that one?" And I said, "You know what? I'm going to go with the one you suggested. You know what? I will never regret that decision because I have probably one of the most busted characters from just going, yeah, I'm going to take that one." And then building it the right way.
And then looking, hey, look, I get several of the more powerful. If you're not this alignment, you're dead. Which we'll be going over one of those spells in a second.
Right.
So we're gonna end.
I have coined this next spell. I have coined it as the D&D equivalent to the spell. And any of my anime fans, if you watch Fairy Tail, I have coined it Fairy Law.
Yeah.
Because it works the exact same.
Oh yeah, but when it comes to Detect Undead, I do recommend it. If you have any questions about Detect Undead, please leave a comment. On the next spell, and that he refers, it's a very lawful spell. It's called Dictum. Because you're a dick if you cast this. It's an evocation, lawful sonic.
Fuck you, Joe.
7th level cleric, 7th level law domain spell. Components, verbal. Casting time, standard action, range 40, area, non-lawful creatures in a 40-foot radius spread centered on you. So if you're within 40 feet of the caster, you're being affected by this. And yes, same Team Farva is on for this spell. Duration, instantaneous. Saving throw, none or will negates. See text. Spell resistance, yes. Description. Any lawful creature within the area of Dictum spell suffers the following ill effects. Equal to caster level, deafened. Up to caster level -1, slowed and deafened. Up to caster level -5, paralyzed, slow, and deafened. Up to caster level -10, killed, paralyzed, slowed, and deafened. The effects are cumulative and concurrent. No saving throw is allowed against these effects. Deafened. The creature is deafened for die 4 rounds. Slowed. The creature is slowed by the slow spell for a D2, a 2 die 4 rounds. Paralyzed. The creature is paralyzed and helpless for die 10 minutes. Killed. Living creatures die. Undead creatures are destroyed. Furthermore, if you are on your home plane when you cast this spell, non-lawful extraplanar creatures within the area are instantly banished back to their home plane. Creatures so banished cannot return for at least 24 hours. This effect takes place regardless of whether the creature hears the dictum. The banishment effect allows a will saving throw at a -4 penalty to negate it. Creatures whose hit dice exceed your caster level are unaffected by dictum. So this is the lawful version of
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy, which is the you have to be evil to not be affected by it. So this is
and now an important thing to note with these spells, and Lux has mentioned it, is that you have to be a certain class or you have to be in that domain. Sorcerer's Prestige class Summoner says, fuck your alignment, fuck your class. Here's this spell if you make the pacts that you need to with the right gods. I.e., being a chaotic evil player, I have both blasphemy and dictum and can use them efficiently.
Yeah, that's because he made pact with a lawful neutral god of the underworld who has access to both the respected domains that give both blasphemy and dictum.
Right. So just because he says cleric, but you hear the law domain, don't get discouraged. You can still get it.
Yeah. So if you have
You have to think about it a little.
yeah, because it's domains are weird. If you have something giving you access to domain spells, rejoice, because that's additional spell you get to cast. So he gets to cast once a day both blasphemy and dictum from the same god who's giving him access to those two domains. So he gets access to, I'm going to make you suffer one way or another. And because he is also a high level, there's a lot of creatures that just instantly die in his presence when he activates it. Because
yeah, I may have used it to clear a few boats.
Yeah. Because you have to be at least level 16 or higher not to instantly die when he levels this. Which, because his effective cast level is really, really high. So pretty much really powerful it can be considered pretty powerful entities. Still go, he's gonna one-shot me. And because there is no saving throw for the killing effect, or the paralyzing, or the soda, or the deafened, you have to rely on your spell resistance. But since he's a really high caster, you have to hope your spell resistance is outrageously high, or that he rolls really, really poorly. But there's still a chance he's gonna go, yeah, I have this bonus, I got this, this spell's working on you. And if you happen to...
It's 100%. If you just stop and think about it, you can pretty much do anything you want to in D&D.
Yeah, this is one of those spells of, I walk in the room, and if it's not lawful, it's going to suffer one thing or another. And you can easily determine what things you should focus on first, what you shouldn't, because if it's your level minus 10, it's killed. You don't have to worry about them because they're gone. If it's up to your level minus 5, well, it's paralyzed, so you have somewhere between 10 to 100 rounds to take care of everything else before you need to worry about it. If it's one level below you, well, it's slown for up somewhere from 2 to 8 rounds and deafened for at least 4 rounds. So it's suffering minuses to fighting you. And if it happens to be your level, it's deafened. Now, if a creature looks at you and it's not affected by any of those things, there's 2 reasons. One, its total hit die is at minimum 1 above yours. Or 2, it meets the qualifications to not be affected by any of those things, which should worry you.
At that point, make sure you have teleport prepared and hope you can get out before you get hit with Dimensions Lock.
Yeah, because if something isn't affected by paralyzation, which there are things are, you're like, okay, it's not paralyzed. Oh, hey, unless it doesn't have ears, if deafen isn't working on it, I don't know what's going on there. It's like, what the hell is immune to that? If slow's not working on it, well, then you just should probably walk away, because if those aren't working on it, then it's definitely not going to get one shot.
Yeah.
Unlawful outsiders, while they get affected by any of those things or not, have to make a saving throw or get banished. So neutral outsiders and chaotic outsiders are going back to their home plane, and they're going to be pissy because they can't leave for 24 hours after which. So it's like, boom.
You're grounded.
Yeah. So like at the end of the day, the only real thing you have to worry about is creatures of extremely high hit die, or creatures that just look at you funny for doing it. And I have to take a quick break because I have to use the restroom. So I'm going to leave these two to entertain you lot for a while. For for instance, if Bacon, if you want to enlighten people on some of the shenanigans you guys did yesterday, go ahead, because you used dictum and blasphemy yesterday.
Oh boy.
Fair. Yeah, so blasphemy, funnily enough, I prefer it.
Okay.
So what ended up happening there is one of our players, well, two of our players currently have keeps. Both were inherited through, one was through a deck of many things, one was through screwing a Daedric Prince. I will let you figure out who did what, but I am one of them. You could figure out which one I am.
Oh god.
Said player also married said Daedric Prince. Any case. So one of our former players, who is turned enemy player character due to the fact that, she's a bit of a twat waffle anyway and didn't have a thing against me, decided to bombard the keeps.
Okay.
Now, she was also technically considered a minor god. So she had forces. She had followers. She had all this fun shit. Well, one of the escaping vessels didn't escape quite fast enough.
Ooh.
So I decided to teleport onto the bridge of the ship, and I casted Blasphemy. Now, much like Lux has informed everyone, Blasphemy and Dictum both, if you're not high enough level, you just kind of disappear.
Okay.
The entities on the ship were not a high enough level. I wiped out a crew of roughly 100 in a course of like 4 seconds.
I mean, efficient.
Extremely. It's a great spell, but it like Lux also said, is it comes with a very big drawback. Now, in our party, I am chaotic evil. There's no getting around it. I'm an undead. Technically, I'm automatically evil. The chaotic part is just because I may or may not have done some questionable things. The rest of our party, for the most part, ranges from chaotic neutral to chaotic good.
Okay.
Now, that being said, if I were to cast either Dictum or Blasphemy, and the party was anywhere near me in that 40-foot radius, they would instantly die. All but one of them would instantly die. The only player that could survive me casting these spells, and not saying that they would be okay, they would definitely be fucked up, but they'd survive, is our shaman, who is, for anybody at home that doesn't know, a shaman is very similar to a druid. He's the only one that's even remotely close to me in for casting levels. And so, I this question comes up a lot with them, is like, why is it whenever something comes up like this, you just teleport away and you handle it? If you go with me, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
My character just hit 7th level for sorcerer, so I just acquired greater teleportation. I have the teleportation spell, so I can basically be anywhere across the continent in like mere minutes. Which there's only one other party member that has access to teleport, and unfortunately, if she got caught in either one of those spells, she would not live because, again, chaotic neutral. Borderlining evil.
Oh, it is getting ready to storm.
Oh yeah, it's been storming here for about an hour now.
Where are you in relation to Pottstown?
Scranton.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so now on the flip side of that, upon deciding to fight our minor god friend in our first encounter, I never really knew what her caster level was, so I hit her with dictum. She didn't die, but she had every ill effect possible, aside from death. And then of course, since she was a minor god, she was no longer tied to the current plane, so she got sent back to hers. Now, she only vanished for 24 hours. Now, this goes back to, again, Summoner Prestige class for Sorcerer is broken as hell. The next encounter that we had with her after the 24 hours, because again, she's persistent. If you ever get the chance to make a pact with a god who's essentially an ocean, I would recommend doing it because it comes in handy in the worst possible times. So I did this intentionally without the party's knowledge because nobody else in the party was being targeted by her because she didn't really have a vendetta against anybody but me.
Right.
I cast Mordekainen's Magnificent Mansion, which extra dimensional spell. You open the door, you're in this big mansion. You can cast it anywhere because it's just a door that spawns, and you go into an extra dimension space. Seemed like a great spell to have until we realized that we can't take bags of holding into it, nor can any of our unique one of our unique companions in the game, which is an Orb of Cortez, as Lux has named it. Essentially, it's a flying storage facility, and we have two of them, and neither one of them can go into this place because if they do, it's just going to explode. So, on topic, all I did was stand inside the door of the mansion, just waiting. And the minute she walked in, I had my pact ability prepped. So I instantly summoned a black ocean that filled up this extra dimensional space, actively drowning and killing a minor god.
Nice.
We have to get it right.
Yeah.
Use a greater god to drown a lesser god.
Okay, I used the greater god to drown the lesser god.
Well.
And then said greater god proceeded to eat her, spitting out only her magical items. Great for the party. Everybody made out like bandits on that one.
Sounds like it would.
Everyone likes getting a Ring of Wishes with 26 charges in it.
Oh, the things I could do for people, with people, and to people that would, if I had something like that.
I have 22 charges left. I already used 4 of them. That was the only item out of the entirety of the thing. The only thing I was looking for was that ring. Only because in our party, even admitted it last night, they cannot be trusted with wishes. The last 2 people, which the person we just took the ring off of being one of them, they're very selfish with their wishes. Yeah. Very selfish. Our shaman had 13 wishes. He essentially created a Tarask Pokeball.
He bought 3 rings of wishes. Each one had 3 wishes on them. And he used all 9 to do his best to make it his animal companion. Make the beast stone that only normally works on animals work on magical beasts. Yeah, he wasted some of them because Wish doesn't bypass spell resistance. And when it affects a creature, the creature gets a saving throw, and it's a Tarask. So, multiple checks were made per wish, and several of the wishes just failed because the Tarask pretty much went, no.
Yeah, I mean he passed mostly. He kind of pretty much got what he was asking
A
for.
third of the wishes were non-effective.
Yeah, I listen. I didn't say he did it well. I just said he did it. But yeah, no. So I mean, they're dictum and blasphemy, fun as hell. Um, would 100% recommend if you can get your party to agree to let you use it without killing them. Great. If you are like the weakest spellcaster in your party, probably don't want to grab it.
Yeah.
That is definitely those are definitely the types of spells that you want to make sure you are a decent level spellcaster before you take them. Just because again,
Hi, Uncle Pancake.
you don't really you you don't really want to leave your you don't want to cast it and just everybody be like, yeah, all right, whatever. It doesn't affect us. You're too weak for this.
It's also one of the spells that if the rest of the party isn't to snuff with your effective caster level, pretty much meaning if you have stuff that skyrocket your caster level, you could end up same team Farva your entire team. Because it's one of those spells that goes, if the caster's protected, and if you're this alignment, you're protected. Everyone else can go suck it. So,
Okay.
because nothing's really funnier than having someone go, well, since my effective caster level is this, I'm casting this spell because we're fighting a bunch of unlawful characters. And then several party members going, oh, great, yay. Here's my effective level. Here's my hit dice. Yay. And then just look at him going, oh no. Oh no. And just letting the panic ensue in everyone. Just like, yay. Well, luckily, several of you are only slowed and deafened for a short period of time, but the rest of you are paralyzed. And the new guy who joined in, I forgot we had a new guy. We need to resurrect the new guy. Why? Are you lawful? No. You throw in last game session at level 1, right? Yeah. My effective caster level is 19. What's that mean? It means everything that's my level minus 10, which is 9 hit die or less, is dead. So it is a watch who you use it around, because like for instance in the Friday campaign there's several party members that aren't lawful, and if you use dictum around, they die. While a lot of other people are like, well, we're going to be paralyzed for a while because damn. So it's a same team Farva situation. So you can call it the fuck it, I press the dictum button. But it's still a very effective spell. Extremely effective. Primarily because unless you're an outsider, there's no saving throws. So if you're able to cast 7th level spells as a cleric, and you have the law domain, or if you don't have the law domain, taking dictum is still going to help you out in the long run, because if you're this spell does work against undead. It specifically states when it says killed, living creatures die, undead are destroyed. So unlike other death spells or spells that have a death effect, undead constructs are normally immune to that. This spell goes, oh, living creatures and undead creatures die. They're gone. Poof. They're defeated. So it's only constructs that can bypass that because they're neither undead or living. They're constructs. So it's still an extremely get lost, bam, I win spell. That being said, if anyone has any questions they wish to ask or statements they wish to have about dictum, please leave a comment. And yes, I know I'm probably mispronouncing the spell, but dictum is still funny because it's a dick spell.
Dictum.
Yeah, get your dictum good. The next spell.
Why do they call it dictum? Because it screws you.
Pretty much, yeah. This by the letter of the law, you get boned. The next spell I do like a lot. A lot of people, for some reason, don't comprehend it. One person who's here today will say that this is a very great spell because he gets free use of it, free use of it, to a certain degree, but it's still a really great spell. Dimension Door. This is a conjuration, teleportation, 4th level bard, wizard, sorcerer, and travel domain spell. This is it has the verbal component, casting time 1, range long. So it's not quite as long range as normal teleportations, but having 400 base with 40 feet per caster level being thrown on top of it, it's still pretty freaking good. Target you and touched objects or other willing creatures. Keyword willing. If they're not willing, it starts to get bonkers. Duration instantaneous. Saving throw none, and will negates objects. So if you're an object, then it... Don't ask me why they're giving objects saving throws unless it's an intelligent object. Spell resistance, no, and objects, yes. So if an object is protected by spell resistance, then you have to beat that. Description. You instantly transport yourself from your current location to any other spot within range. You always arrive at exactly the spot you desire, whether by simply visualizing the area or by stating directions such as 900 feet straight forward or upward to the northwest 75 degrees angle 1,200 feet. After using the spell, you can't take any other actions until your next turn. You can bring along objects as long as their weight doesn't exceed your maximum load. You may also bring one additional willing medium or smaller creature carrying gear or objects up to maximum load, or equivalent per 3 caster levels. A large creature counts as 2 medium creatures, a huge counts as 2 large creatures, and so forth. All creatures to be transported must be in contact with one another, and at least one of those creatures must be in contact with you. If you arrive in a place that is already occupied by a stolid body, you and each creature traveling with you take 1d6 points of damage and are shunted to a random open space on a suitable surface within 100 feet of the intended location. If there is no free space within 100 feet, you and each creature traveling with you take an additional 2d6 points of damage and are shunted to a free space within 1,000 feet. If there's no free space within 1,000 feet, you and each creature traveling with you take an additional 4d6 points of damage, and the spell simply fails.
Oh dear.
So it's literally, if you're like, I want to teleport to this, like, let's say 1,000 feet straight down. Well, you just tried to dimension door into the ground. So you and everyone in there are going to take a die 6 because you're being shunted, and because there's no room within 100 feet, you're being shunted again. So yeah, you're just going to keep shunted. So hey, spell fails because, well, you were already standing on the surface. So if you're trying to get to the Underdark, yes, that's a sure way to eventually get there. But at the same time, you're probably going to kill yourself and everyone going with you for being stupid.
Yeah.
But it's still a really, really effective spell. A certain individual with us can state that he does like this spell because he uses it a lot.
It is a good early game teleport. Okay, I will state that now. It is 100% wonderful to have.
Yeah.
Especially it's 4th level versus teleport, which is 6th level. It's a long time to get 2 levels. I don't care who you are, what you say. It's a lot of XP to get 2 levels, especially 4 to 6. You seem to be like in a dead zone at that point for some reason.
Yeah.
If you need a good get out of jail free card, Dimensions Door is wonderful.
Yeah. And the only thing you have to worry about is not thinking straight and teleporting it, or using it and teleporting into a solid object. Otherwise, there is no spell failure chance. There is no, oh, I rolled wrong on this percentile, I'm not going where I was, like normal teleportation. It is simply, welp, I'm pretty sure this location's within 1,000 feet of me, so I'm going to teleport to that location. If it's not, well, you're teleported 1,000 feet in that direction. There is no mishap chance unless you're, again, teleporting into something. And my mom's dog is now busting in here like the police. I don't care that mom's in the bathroom. Get up. Navi, up. Because, yes, she likes to do that. Now, if you have any questions or statements for Dimension Door, please leave a comment. Mainly because the next spell is a spell that I've seen literally make people rage quit because they only like this spell when they get to use it, but anytime it's used on them, they act like you're personally trying to go after them. Dimensional Anchor. This is an aberration spell. It's a 4th level cleric wizard sorcerer spell. Components: verbal, semantic. Casting time: standard action. Range: medium. Effect: array. Duration: 1 minute at caster level. Saving throw: none. Spell resistance: yes, 4 objects. Description: a green ray springs forth. Springs from your outward stretched hand. You must make a ranged touch attack to hit the target. Any creature or object struck by the ray is covered with a shimmering emerald field that completely blocks extra-dimensional travel forms of movement barred by a dimensional anchor. Include astral projection, blink, dimension door, ethereal jolt, etherealness, gate, maze, plane shift, shadow walk, teleport, similar spell-like or psionic abilities. This spell also prevents the use of gate or teleportation circle for the duration of the spell. A dimensional anchor does not interfere with the movements of creatures already in ethereal or ancestral forms when the spell is cast, nor does it block extra-dimensional perceptions or attack forms such as a basilisk gaze. Also, Dimensional Anchor does not prevent summoned creatures from disappearing at the end of a summon spell.
Oh, good answer.
So you can probably guess on how many people take this spell way too personally when it's used on them.
Yeah, they take it as a personal attack. Fuck them.
Yeah. Because you also wouldn't believe how many times as a player or as a DM when someone's been hit by this, it's like, oh, there's a shimmered emerald field around you. They're like, oh my god, why didn't I get saving throws? Why didn't I get this? Why am I glowing like this? It's like, are you going to do a spellcraft to try to figure out what spell you got hit by, or are you just going to sit there and freak out that there was no saving throw? But I'm protected against things. It's like, are you going to do the spellcraft, or are you going to keep being stupid? There's something wrong here. I teleport away. Teleport fails. No, it doesn't. It's like, yes, it does. The player who knows. It's sitting there going, I can't metagame this, but I know what's affecting you. Everyone else going, it's not metagaming if you tell us. Yes, that conversation has happened before. When it's like, oh, player knowledge versus character knowledge. If you're using player knowledge that your character does not have, it's metagaming. When you have good players going, yeah, my character has no idea what that effect is, despite me. No, Goose, you do not need to I'm gonna have to go get a dog here soon, but hey, look, that can wait another couple of minutes. But like I said, it's like there's been multiple times where I've seen players that sit there and he goes, I know what spell that person just got hit. And they're more concerned with what's trying to stop the party from fleeing than the person complaining that I can't teleport. It's like, yay. And then when they find out that they've been dimensional anchored, the amount of crying and whining, it's like, you guys teleported in here. The big bad guy looked at you and went, I don't want you to run. You just proven you have that capabilities. That's your wizard, so he's most likely the one that cast it. Bam. Yeah, now he can't utilize that spell to get you guys out. So unless you're running through that barred door, fight's on. So it's a very effective spell because it stops creatures from literally getting away. So that there's that of you're not running unless you actually physically run. There is a stronger version of this spell, Dimension Lock. It's a 8th level spell for clerics and sorcerers and wizards. Verbal semantic, casting time, standard action, range, medium, area of 20-foot radius emission centered on the point in space. Duration, 1 day per caster level. No saving throw, spell resistance, yes. You create a shimmering emerald barrier that completely blocks extra-dimensional travel. Forms of movement barred include everything that Dimensional Anchor blocks. Once Dimensional Lock is in place, extra-dimensional travel into or out of the area is not possible. Dimensional Lock does not interfere with things that are already in place. So if you're already ethereal or astral, it doesn't stop that because you're already in it. So just like with Dimensional Anchor, it doesn't stop you from perceiving in those planes of existence or doing attacks that work on things that work on ethereal or astral things. So that's the same parameters as Dimensional Anchor, but instead of a, hey, screw you, it's, hey, screw everything in this 20-foot radius. It is a very great way to, excuse me, lock everything down, and it lasts days. So once you get access to 8th level spells, which depending on your class, you're probably going to be 16th level. You hit it on a zone, and that zone for 16 whole days, nothing can go in there without actually walking in. So there is no teleportation, there's no dimension door, or any of that stuff. So you can pretty much go, this is somewhat safe, with the exception of anything trying to do any probing is going to realize that, hey, someone really doesn't want any form of teleportation or planar travel to happen within this zone. So it's pretty conspicuous at that. But they're still very good spells, very effective spells. And they are still very, people, from my personal experience, have gotten butthurt over those two spells more often than not, primarily because it works. plain and simple, it works. And oh, she probably accidentally disconnected. Well, hopefully she comes back when we end it. But if you have any questions or comments about, questions or statements about Dimensional Acre or Dimensional Lock, please leave a comment. And those spells are spells I do recommend, unless you're absolutely sure that you're not going to need them. Because again, if your enemy doesn't rely on teleportation, then but those were the last two spells we're going to cover for today.
Oh, see, puppy. Yes.
So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, and remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for more spells. Dun dun dun.
Womp womp.